believe, causing my faith to decrease. All the more I'm gonna take him at his word, and I'm gonna trust and never, never doubt. And I'm standing on his every promises. For in those times of trouble, he will bring me out. Lord, 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 I believe, I believe, I believe, I believe, Lord. I believe that all things are possible. Nothing, nothing is impossible. All things are possible. Nothing is impossible. To God, all things are possible. Nothing is impossible. 'Cause Lord, I believe. Won't you say amen? It is good to see, after a number of Sundays being away, Pepper back in the house. We know she's been dealing with some stuff, and good to see the good judge in the house. Judge Wright. Y'all know he has had prostate cancer surgery, and here he is in the worship service. And with another title, Dr. Judge, Dr. Reverend Judge. Amen, amen. Good to see you. And we keep Jeanette Crawford in prayer as she too is recovering from surgery. And so you have heard the reading of the word, that 12th verse of the 14th chapter. Now, I'm asking that I do this every Sunday. I don't know who be doing this, but I say it. I say it because I hope somebody at least is faithful enough to read the entire chapter, 14th chapter of John. You can do it before dinner. You can do it. You can put on the phone and let it read to you on your way home. But it constitutes the context out of which we are attempting to preach, but because of the length of the text and limitations on our time, we lifted up the 12th verse of the 14th chapter of John. I'm reading from the New Revised Standard Version of the Greek New Testament. It reads, "Very truly I tell you, the one who believes in me will also do the works that I do, and in fact will do greater works than these, because I am going to the Father." Thank you. May the Lord add a blessing once again to the reading and hearing, understanding of his word. You may have your seats in the presence of the Lord. Let us go into a word of prayer. Eternal God, we thank you for this day, for this is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. God, we ask that the words of my mouth meditation of my heart will be acceptable in thy sight. O Lord, my strength and my most blessed Redeemer. Amen. For the time that is mine, I want to ask that you will pray with me on the subject, that's that bogus BS. Turn to somebody and tell them, that's BS. Turn to somebody else and tell them, that's some BS. One of the major obstacles we face is there's too much toxic BS. BS. I know some of you all are looking at me quizzically, and you didn't even want to tell somebody that was BS. But I don't know what you had in mind, but BS means, for me, belief systems. Some of your minds went to how you are going to talk after church as you're riding in your car. I wasn't talking about you giving somebody half of a peace sign while you're driving because they cut you off. I'm talking about toxic belief systems, BS. Beloved, a social system, belief systems, a social system as defined by Webster refers to the structured and organized way in which a society functions, encompassing various institutions, relationships, and norms that shape the societal interactions and governments. Governance. Social systems are how we relate to one another right now, whether you realize it or not. You are inundated with a social system that has been etched upon your mind, your heart, your body. And so in this society, you operate by a social system. And those social systems become a part of our belief systems of people in that society. When I do premarital counseling, I make sure to explain to the couple that are pledging their lives to one another to remember that both of you come from two different references or belief systems, in a way that you were raised a certain way to see things a certain way, and because you are raised that way and you see things that way, you have judgments about people and things. And so now your task as two people getting married is to understand the reference point, the social system that has raised you from the perspective that you live in. Social systems become a part of our belief systems, and unfortunately, most of the social system that we live in right here in America, KKK, are toxic belief systems and social systems. What is a toxic belief system? Well, the late Dr. William Augustus Jones of the Bethany Baptist Church in New York, incidentally, footnote, I'm dropping a breadcrumb. Get his book, God in the Ghetto. It is a classic book that you need to read to understand belief systems that are shaped by social systems. And so Dr. William Augustus Jones postulated that theology determines your anthropology, and your anthropology ultimately determines your sociology. Oh, get deep, Pastor, get deep. That's what I'm here for. How you see God, that's theology, determines how you see yourself, that's anthropology, and how you see yourself ultimately determines how you see other people, that's sociology. If you see God as an old white man, theology, who sits on a throne far away and who is always looking to punish people, then you will see yourself, anthropology, as closer to God than anybody else if you are a white male, and which ultimately will then determine how you see other people, sociology, and how you then seek to order your society. Therefore, anybody that's not white and male is thus beneath you, and you have a right to do whatever you want to them because of how you see God. A toxic belief system. Your theology determines your anthropology, which determines your sociology. And there's another footnote. That's why you need to erase the white pictures of Jesus, because white Jesus ain't never been good for black people. Come on, somebody tell me to preach. I'm going to do it anyway. I don't care what used to happen in Little Henry Baptist Church when you were growing up, but you need to get rid of the images of white Jesus, and it's even harder to get rid of those images in your mind, but you better start looking at some kinky hair, lock-wearing, dark skin, full lip, full nose Jesus to help you erase that image. That toxic belief system will see no problem, y'all, with a grown white woman who claims to be a Christian yelling at a 5-year-old autistic black child, calling him the N-word, and then that same white woman collected over $700,000 from white people who claim to be Christian but see no problem with what this white woman did and said to this 5-year-old autistic black child. Toxic belief system, y'all. Toxic belief system when brown people, whether they are here legally or not, are being indiscriminately deported, even after the Supreme Court said stop it. But 59 racist white colonizers from South Africa, who not only were flown on a private jet at taxpayers' expense, had the red carpet rolled out for them, and who though classified as refugees, but didn't look like no refugees I ever seen before, bringing 5 and 6 bags of luggage each, were extremely well fed, clothed, and well manicured solely because of their white skin, and are thus celebrated by white evangelicals here in this nation. That's some more toxic BS. Elon Musk was on Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan is a problem in itself, but being on Joe Rogan's podcast saying he said the fundamental weakness of Western civilization is empathy. He said there's too much empathy. If that were all, it would be sickening enough. But as the late Dr. Gardner Taylor said, the crucifixion of Jesus exposed the collusion between a wicked government and a blasphemous religion. The cross, he said, pulled the covers off conniving political operatives joining hands with prostituted religionists. An example happened recently on another podcast with an evangelical white nationalist pastor by the name of Josh McPherson, who said, empathy needs to be struck from the Christian vocabulary because empathy, he said, is dangerous. He said empathy is toxic and empathy will align you with hell. And several other white evangelical pastors and white evangelical people on that same podcast listening all co-signed in support of his toxic BS belief system. All of this despite the biblical fact that Jesus commanded us to go even deeper than empathy by embodying his example of compassion. Let me help you out. Empathy, as defined by the dictionary, like Webster, it says the ability to understand and be sensitive vicariously to the feelings, thoughts, and experience of another person. In other words, you feel, you begin to have sympathy. You feel for a person who is down. But compassion, by the dictionary, says sympathetic consciously to the distress of another person. That's empathy. But to have the burning desire to alleviate their suffering. Compassion goes deeper because it goes deeper than just saying that's bad that happened to them. It means, no, I got to find something to do to help them. The biblical mandate from Jesus, the Lord of the church, is to go beyond even empathy to compassion. And these evangelical white nationalist pastors and parishioners and too many black people are saying that not only is compassion wrong, but there is too much empathy in this country. That's some pure BS. Bad belief system. I told you last year, the run up to the election, that there was another evangelical pastor who was reading from the Beatitudes of Jesus. And the members of his congregation said, Reverend, where did you get those liberal talking points from in this